Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I wanted to talk about listening comprehension. So one of the biggest concerns or complaints I hear from most of my students is that native speakers, American people, British people, talk too fast, right? So a lot of my students, they study, the words, the vocabulary in the textbook. They do listening comprehension exercises, and then they go to like Starbucks or they go to, a shop. They go shopping and they just don't understand the clerk. They don't understand native speakers because everything is like just too fast. So I wanted to give you a listening exercise that was realistic, that was fast, that was just like native speakers actually talk, okay? And I'm going to do double duty, which is like I'm going to try and kill two birds with one stone, okay? That's a slang. I don't actually like it because I don't want to kill any bird, but to kill two birds with one stone means when you accomplish two goals at once, okay? So I'm going to try and kill two birds with one stone in this video by also practicing the 10 most common verbs in English, okay? So I have created a monologue. It's a person talking really fast using the 10 most common verbs in English. So this video will allow you to practice listening comprehension, and it will give you a chance to practice these 10 most common verbs in English, okay? So please have a listen to this. It's actually a monologue because it's not a conversation. It's just one person talking. It's about a page long. So I'm going to put the text on the screen here so you can see what they're saying. Just have a listen. It's a really interesting monologue about life philosophy, okay? And I'm going to play it twice. The first time it's going to be like normal speed, and then the second time it's going to be fast, which is, I think, more realistic. It's realistic to what you actually hear. Like if you're riding a subway in New York City, you hear people talking, or if you go to Starbucks, wherever you are, and like listening to actual native speakers, okay? And then I want to analyze it for some of the collocations, which means word partners, and some of the phrasal verbs, some of the unique vocabulary, okay? So I hope this activity will be really helpful for you. So let's hear it once at normal speed, and then let's hear it a second time really fast, which is much more realistic, I think, okay? So here we go. Please have a listen to this really interesting monologue, again, that uses the 10 most common verbs in English. Here we go.
Life can be strange sometimes. We all want to be happy, to have peace, to do something meaningful. But often, we don't know where to start or what to say when things get complicated. I think that's normal. We all go through times when we feel lost or unsure about what to do next. I remember a time when I didn't know if I could get through a difficult situation. I had to take a step back and really think about what mattered most. It wasn't easy, but I realized that I had to make a choice, either stay stuck in doubt or move forward and try. So, I decided to be brave. I said to myself, "You can do this." And slowly, I began to make changes. Sometimes we get caught up in what others say or expect from us. But the truth is, we have to listen to our own voice. We have to know what makes us feel alive and what we want to pursue. It's not always simple, but it's worth it. When you go after your dreams, you take risks. You may fail, but that's part of the journey. Failure does not mean you're weak. It means you're trying. And every time you get up and try again, you become stronger. I think the most important thing is to be kind to yourself. Have patience and understand that growth takes time. Don't rush to have all the answers or to do everything perfectly. Life is about learning, evolving, and making memories. So, if you find yourself unsure or scared, remember that it's okay. Take a deep breath, get some clarity, and keep moving. You'll find your way. And in the end, that's what truly matters, being true to yourself and living with purpose.
Okay, so awesome. That was a fun monologue, right? It's really interesting. I think it's good philosophy. It's about going after your dreams, which means pursuing your dreams, okay? So that was about normal speed. That was kind of like textbook speed. Not really very realistic to what you might actually hear at Starbucks or at a mall. If you go, if you're at an American college or at an airport in the United States, and you're actually talking to a real clerk, for example, or a real a real, American college student, for example, they're going to be talking much faster. They're going to be talking like this, okay, like this. Let's hear it now, sped up just a little bit faster, and I think this is actually very realistic, okay? So please listen again and see how you can do with listening comprehension when it's a bit more difficult. All right, so let's hear it again. This is going to be sped up to a much more fast pace, okay? Please listen to the monologue one more time, and then let's talk about it. Here it is.
You know, life can be strange sometimes. We all want to be happy, to have peace, to do something meaningful. But often we don't know where to start or what to say when things get complicated. I think that's normal. We all go through times when we feel lost or unsure about what to do next. I remember a time when I didn't know if I could get through a difficult situation. I had to take a step back and really think about what mattered most. It wasn't easy, but I realized that I had to make a choice. Either stay stuck in doubt or move forward and try. So I decided to be brave. I said to myself, you can do this. And slowly, I began to make changes. Sometimes we get caught up in what others say or expect from us. But the truth is, we have to listen to our own voice. We have to know what makes us feel alive and what we want to pursue. It's not always simple, but it's worth it. When you go after your dreams, you take risks. You may fail, but that's part of the journey. Failure does not mean you're weak. It means you're trying. And every time you get up and try again, you become stronger. I think the most important thing is to be kind to yourself, have patience, and understand that growth takes time. Don't rush to have all the answers or to do everything perfectly. Life is about learning, evolving, and making memories. So if you find yourself unsure or scared, remember that it's okay. Take a deep breath, get some clarity, and keep moving. You'll find your way. And in the end, that's what truly matters, being true to yourself and living with purpose.
Okay, awesome. So if you understood that, you're doing great, right? This is pretty advanced stuff right now. This is a really fast monologue. She's talking really fast, and she's doing something which I think is very typical of a lot of native speakers, which is sort of blurring the lines of the collocation. So collocations are word partners, right? They're word phrases that go together. For example, in Japanese, right? If you know Japanese, people say arigato gozaimasu, and now even people saying azas, right? It's a more efficient way of speaking. It's blending the words together, right? It's the same thing in English, right? If you look at the second paragraph there, where it says, "I remember a time," right? You know the Michael Jackson song, "Do you remember the time?" Right? This is such a common expression. It's called a collocation, which collocation just means a group of words that often goes together. So, like Michael Jackson said, "Do you remember the time?" Right? So I remember a time. So when American people or British people, when we say this expression, "I remember a time," we don't think of it as "I remember a time." We're not thinking of it as those four words, "I remember a time." We're hearing it as "I remember a time." Okay, like arigatou gozaimasu. That's a collocation. It's a word partner, a word phrase that often goes together and that we hear embedded in our memory as a chunk, it's like a lexical, a word, a vocabulary chunk, okay? It's the same thing with music, right? If you ever study music, right, first you learn notes, like you learn C, E, G, right? You see individual notes. That's like seeing individual words. Well, eventually, as you get more advanced with reading music, you start to see arpeggios, right? C, E, G. Oh, that's a C major arpeggio. Then eventually you start to see chords. And that's how people can sight read piano music really fast, for example. They're not looking at individual notes. They're looking at collocations. They're looking at note partners. They're looking at chords, right? They're not thinking that's C, E, G. They're thinking that's a C major chord. That's a C major triad. I know where to find that on the piano, or that's an arpeggio. So it's a more efficient way of reading music. It's the same thing with language. So if you can look at that first sentence in that second paragraph where it says, "I remember a time," and think, oh, that's "I remember a time." That's a word collocation that I want to know. I want to have that in my memory. So next time I run into that collocation, it's easier to say it. It's easier to hear it. It's easier to comprehend it. Okay. So let's have a look at those four paragraphs, and let's just do a deep dive through some of the vocabulary and some of the phrasal verb, because this is a really good monologue. I think it's just loaded with a lot of great expressions. Okay. So first paragraph, that's pretty straightforward. I don't see any unusual words or phrases there. So let's have a look at the second paragraph, right? "I remember a time," there's that collocation, when I didn't know if I could get through. Okay, get through, that's a very common expression, to get through. Get through something is to survive or endure, right? I just got through this. I had this test and I didn't know if I was going to get through it. I had to have surgery for my tooth surgery, and luckily I got through it okay. Get through. It's like to survive, okay? To get through. A really common expression, to get through a difficult situation. I had to take a step back. Take a step back. So literally that means to walk backwards, but metaphorically or symbolically, it actually means to just sort of take a pause, take a breather, and just sort of reflect for a second, to sort of look, just take a step back. It's like just calm down, slow down, and sort of reflect on your life for a second. So take a step back. Again, that's a collocation. When I read that, I don't think take a step back. No, I think of the collocation, take a step back. You hear that? Take a step back, okay? So you want to put that in your mind as take a step back. Take a step back, okay? And think of that as to kind of just be philosophical, just sort of reflect, to think about the deeper meaning of something, okay? All right. So the rest of that paragraph is pretty straightforward. So either stay stuck. Stuck is like when you're not moving at all, in doubt, or move forward and try. Okay, so I decided to be brave. All right, I said to myself, you can do this. And slowly I began to make changes. Okay, awesome. All right, let's move on to the third paragraph. Sometimes we get caught up in. Okay, so again, a really common expression here. To get caught up is to spend too much time on something that's really not so important. Like, just don't get caught up in all these details, right? It's not really that important. You're getting caught up on something. You're getting stuck. All right, you're spending too much time on something that really doesn't deserve all that attention. We get caught up in, we get bothered by something. All right, what others say or expect from us is so true. So many of us, yeah. Okay, but the truth is we have to listen to our own voice. We have to know what makes us feel alive and what we want to pursue. Pursue is actually one of those really common words. It's on the general service list of the most popular words in English. So I would recommend knowing pursue. It means to try and obtain something, to chase something. Like I'm pursuing a degree, for example, or the cat pursued a mouse. So it's to chase something, chase a goal, or to chase an object. It's not always simple, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's valuable. It's necessary. It's helpful. It's something you should do. It's worth it. When you go after, go after. Again, that go after is the same as pursue. Why don't we just say pursue? Because we often use these phrasal verbs. They sound more casual. So go after is the same as pursue. It's to try and chase something, to try to obtain something. You take risks. You may fail, but that's part of the journey. Failure does not mean you're weak. It means you're trying. And every time you get up and try again, you become stronger. Okay, get up. I did another video on get up. It's such a common phrasal verb. Get up is when you arise from bed. So like, for example, I woke up at 6, but I got up at 6:15 or 6:30. It's to actually physically get out of bed, but it can also mean to stand up, right? So like I had a dream, I had a goal, and I failed and it didn't work out, but I got up and I tried again. So it's like to stand up and to try something again. I'm going to get up, right? You've fallen down on the floor, or like you fell down with your dream, and now you're getting up. See, it's like to stand, to rise, okay? To get up and try again. You become stronger. Okay, next paragraph. All right, let's look. Let's go down to the fourth line. The first 3 lines are pretty straightforward, I think. Pretty basic vocabulary. So let's go down to the 4th line. There it says, so if you find yourself unsure or scared, remember that it's okay. Take a deep breath. Right? Take a deep breath. That's such a great phrase. I love that. It's a collocation and a casual sort of slang expression. Take a deep breath. It's just slow down. Just sort of take a deep breath, just relax, just pause, okay, reflect, okay, it's kind of like take a step back. So take a deep breath, get some clarity, and keep moving. You'll find your way. To find your way is to find your dream to be successful, okay, to find your way. It's really to be successful, to find your way. I was struggling, I was lost for a while, but eventually I found my way home, right? I found success. And in the end, that's what truly matters, being true to yourself and living with purpose, okay? I totally agree with that. So this is a great monologue. Again, it's doing double duty. It's killing, like I said, two birds with one stone, even though I hate that slang, but it's a very common slang to kill two birds with one stone, because it means it's like an activity or an exercise that accomplishes two goals at once. And in this case, we are learning listening comprehension. We're practicing listening skills, and then we're also improving our vocabulary by learning the 10 most common verbs in English, and I've thrown in a couple of slang and collocation expressions. Okay, so I hope this listening activity was helpful. Again, a lot of my students, they're trying to find activities that involve fast listening, realistic listening. So I had to speed up the audio, but I think that was pretty realistic. That was pretty similar to what you might hear if you're talking to a clerk, or like an American college student, or you're at an airport, for example, and talking to a real native speaker. They do talk fast, just like me. I can slow it down in my narration if that's helpful, but I do try and talk a little bit fast, because I think it's good practice. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Carl with Active English. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much. Bye.